And now, a Scared for Reals Extra.
Hey, it's Chris O'Neill.
And Adam Perry.
And we're here to talk about a new movie, The Exorcism. Starring Russell Crowe. Adam, you didn't see this movie.
Yeah, and from what we've said off air, I'm kind of glad I missed it.
Yeah, it's one of those movies. I saw it opening night. It's one of those movies. You ever have that feeling after watching a movie? Why did I waste my time with this?
Oh, sure.
That's the way I felt, unfortunately. I was hoping because of Russell Crowe. I mean, he did carry, him and Joaquin Phoenix carry Gladiator, which was pretty much, without them, the movie really wasn't that good.
Okay.
I don't know if you agree with me on that one, but...
Again, Gladiator is one of those movies that I've seen a couple times. I think it's a good movie, but I don't hold it up on a pedestal like most.
That's the thing. Like we were talking about Ridley Scott, he has great sets, but you take that away, you take Russell Crowe and Joaquin Phoenix. It's just I've seen it several times, but it's not one I.
Yeah, it's like one of those movies like 300. A lot of people absolutely love, and they have it high on their list. And it's to me, it's like it was a good 1 or 2 time watch. Not anything I'm gonna obsess over.
The reason I brought up Gladiator is because Russell Crowe can, for the most part, carry an average movie on his back. So, spoiler alert, we're going to be talking about The Exorcism from beginning to end. So we're going to dissect the whole plot from start to finish. And it wasn't called The Exorcist originally. It was known as the Georgetown Project. And the movie was filmed in 2019, Adam.
Oh, wow.
So 5 years later, we have the completed work, and I think, unfortunately, it probably should have stayed away.
Probably.
So you got this director inspecting the set of his Exorcism movie, okay? That's how the movie starts. Adrian Pasdar. He gets, like, billed, but it's like, and Adrian Pasdar,
Okay.
So he's inspecting the set of his Exorcism movie. He's by himself. Strange things start to happen, and he is killed. So they bring a new director along, and they bring this down on his luck, drugged out, recovering alcoholic actor named Anthony Miller, who is portrayed by Russell Crowe. Now, he's going to be starring as the priest in this film. He's got this blonde, I love how the description is hipster daughter. She's a hipster daughter, okay? She's suspended from high school. She's having her problems, mainly because of her dad. And she becomes his personal assistant on the film. So the whole point of the Russell Crowe's struggling with his demons, his wife and his daughter's mom suffered from cancer. She died, and he became an alcoholic, became a drug addict. He was a big movie star, though.
Yeah. She's
kind of not following down the same suit. She could, getting kicked out of school and everything like that. She pulled a big prank on the principal. She dropped something on the principal's car and got booted for it.
Wow.
She wants to be like a playwright. I think she sent her dad a play, and he kind of didn't know about it or didn't pay attention to it. He was going through rehab at the time, apparently. Another thing about Russell Crowe's character, Anthony Miller, is he was molested by a priest when he was a kid.
Interesting.
He was an altar boy, and he has difficulty on the film, on and off the set, having flashbacks to his molestation. And again, the movie really doesn't focus on it. It alludes to the fact that he was molested. And it's kind of a messed up movie, not in a good way, because it's all over the place with its focus, okay? The guy tackling all of his demons because of his molestation, but it mainly focuses on the father-the-daughter dynamic, which is, okay. It would have probably been a lot better if it just showed it from his point of view rather than getting all cliched.
Right.
See, unfortunately, the movie becomes really cliched. And it kind of had an interesting start, and you're like, oh, please don't let it be cliche. Oh, it's going to be cliched. Anyway, the whole molestation thing is kind of suggested. The director giving Russell Crowe's character a shot because, he's an outcast now. No one wants to work with him. So the director's taking a big chance having Russell Crowe's character in the movie. He even just struck by his odd behavior and stuff. He's ready to get rid of him himself.
Yeah.
He's having a hard time on the set. And
sounds like you're having a hard time overall.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot more than meets the eye, and I think you know where this is going.
Yeah.
His daughter becomes increasingly concerned about her father's bizarre behavior, including cutting himself, sleepwalking, refusing to take the medications, even reverting back to drinking. There's one scene where he downs a whole bottle of whiskey, literally a whole bottle. So she makes friends with a popular singer on the set who plays the possessed girl in the movie they're making. Well, it becomes a romance. You got to get the whole lesbian scenario in there, so you can check mark that.
Okay.
It had nothing to do with the story, but they put it in there because they have to now. So
whatever.
Yeah. just had nothing to do with the story, really.
Nothing to do with the story. It's just in there.
Yeah, it's just in there for...
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And meanwhile, the whole thing is they've got to find out what's wrong. She wants to find out what the hell is wrong with her dad, because even though he acted irrationally in the past with his drinking and drugs, it's like something doesn't seem to be right. So they consult the consultant on the movie, a real priest played by David Hyde Pierce of Frasier fame. It was kind of interesting he's kind of tackled serious roles before. I don't know if you remember him in Nixon.
Yes. Yep.
He was good in that. It was interesting to see him play a priest. The daughter consults the father of the film, the Catholic priest and psychiatrist, about the frightening behavior. Anthony Miller's on-set acts seems like he's possessed, contorting his body, slamming his head into a table, the usual signs of possession, at least in movie terms.
Yeah, the Hollywood playbook of exorcisms.
Yeah, are you bummed that you missed this movie, Adam?
No, not at all.
At this point, after they see his body contorting, slamming his head into a table, he's replaced by Sam Worthington of Avatar fame. Russell Crowe's character is replaced by Sam Worthington's character. And when alone on the set, Sam Worthington's character sees some sort of phantom and is killed by flying glass from a mirror. And come to find out, his body gets decapitated in pieces. They literally say, "We found him in pieces" on the set.
You don't say.
You're getting more and more intrigued by this.
You don't say.
Yeah. As this is going on, Russell Crowe's character is so possessed, he attacks his own daughter. I guess the whole reason the lesbian thing was broached upon is he makes sexual references about his own daughter. And that I can do you better than she can. And it's like, oh boy. And it's obviously at this point, it's not her dad talking. It's the
demon.
Yeah. After all this happens, David Hyde Pierce, the Father Connor, decides to perform an exorcism on the movie set. Yeah, she finds him and her girlfriend paralyzed in front of the now possessed Russell Crowe. This is interesting. Last year, remember the Pope's Exorcist?
Yes.
This movie was filmed 5 years before, but they decided to release it a year later after the Pope's Exorcist.
Yeah.
So we get to see Russell Crowe possessed not once, but twice within a couple of year period.
Yeah.
Isn't that great?
I wonder what's making him want to do these types of movies.
Again, I don't think he thought they were going to get released back to back.
Yeah.
You know how that works. So at this point, the demons fully possessed Russell Crowe's character. His daughter actually tries to perform the exorcism herself.
Interesting.
Yeah, and that
now just anybody can do an exorcism.
Well, you saw The Exorcist Believes, right? You remember that?
Yeah.
We all get together and we all get to perform the exorcism together.
Yeah, but at least you had someone from the church guiding it. I mean,
kind of.
It sounds like anyone can go to Walmart, buy a Bible, and now perform an exorcism.
Well, Chris McNeil in the new Exorcist movie, she tries to perform it by herself, remember?
Oh,
and then she gets everyone together and they all confront the demon. Priests and people alike now can tag team and take down a demon.
So atheists can perform Okay, I'll buy it. I'll buy it.
Russell Crowe's daughter now tries to use the prayer book herself to exorcise him. She burns him with a crucifix, which the priest and her girlfriend break out of their paralysis state. Okay. Now the priest does the exorcist moment. Come into me. Come into me. It works temporarily and it gets even better. After the priest is possessed, Russell Crowe's character is the one who stabs him with a crucifix and uses the prayer book's exorcism rite sincerely and exorcises the demon. It's burning. It's literally, you see the demon burning.
Okay, then.
Yeah. Again,
wow.
It doesn't have to, you can be an actor portraying a priest.
Okay.
As long as you kind of Daniel Day-Lewis yourself and do the method acting, you can do anything. Anything is possible, Adam. The whole point of, I think what they were trying to make, it was kind of like what we were talking about with Jaws. You know, you got to face your fears. You got to do it yourself. You got to face in this case, it's his inner demon. But it was just, the way it was presented, it was just so blah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so cliche, and I don't know. What are your thoughts about what I just told you?
My thoughts make me even more not really cared to see this movie. The thing is, Chris, your thoughts on it aren't too far off from everybody else's. I know we don't usually go into other people's ratings and criticism, but just having this movie being out a couple days, the critics section of Rotten Tomatoes only gave it a 30%. Now, the viewer average was a little bit more nicer to it. It gave it a 4.6 out of 10.
4.6 out of 10?
Out of 10, which was a little bit better than 30%, I guess. Metacritic gave it a 47 out of 100. Cinema Score out of A plus to F rating gave it a D. So it's not getting much love, Chris, from anyone, including us.
But the movie wraps up, though, in another location. It's like almost like months later, the epilogue. Russell Crowe's character reminisces how things have improved between him and his daughter, and now she doesn't look like a hipster. She doesn't have like the pink blondish hair anymore. She now has long black hair and sunglasses, where it was short, blonde, punky looking. And
so she's gone goth.
No, she didn't look goth at the end.
Oh, okay.
But she was. It looks like she was working on a script. So
gotcha. Yeah, someone's inspired.
It wasn't you or I. But you know what the interesting is, delving into the research on this. The director of the movie is Joshua John Miller, who's the son of
Jason Miller,
Oscar-nominated Jason Miller, the actor who played Damien Karras in the original Exorcist movie. And again, I still, it's like things a couple of years ago kind of delayed things, but man, this movie had a 5-year delay. And it was the Georgetown Project. That was its title in France. The events of The Exorcist, the original Exorcist movie, was the basis for this movie, which was in Georgetown, Washington, D.C. And it's like, why not just like find some uncovered behind the scenes footage and call it the Georgetown Project, the making of The Exorcist, rather than just try to make a awful attempt at trying to make another. How many exorcism movies do we have now? They're happening all the time.
It's a good point, and unfortunately, it just seems like nothing with these exorcism movies is done different or fresh.
No.
They all seem to fall back on the Exorcist playbook. And listen, the Exorcist is the Exorcist for a reason.
Yeah.
It's you really.
It's a one-time thing.
Yeah, you really. I think there's an audience for it. There's a huge audience in the horror subgenre for this religious type horror. But when you're constantly kind of doing the same thing over
and over,
and again, I know there's horror fans out there who are, just because it's in the horror genre, they're gonna love it and praise it. But it's okay to acknowledge a bad movie every once in a while.
Yeah, and Russell Crowe chose poorly in this one, and it's a shame too, because the demon is named Moloch, okay? And in the Holy Bible, he's a Canaanite god associated with the sacrifice of children. Okay. I mean, again, more interesting than anything that's presented in the movie. They didn't really they mentioned the name Moloch like a few times. They don't really delve into Moloch in the movie. The demon's name is Moloch.
It's like so they just pick the name. But yeah, I mean, the lore behind the name is way more interesting than the movie. I mean, now if they made a movie where this thing is trying to go after children, you might have something there.
Right.
Wow, what a missed opportunity.
Definitely, and that's a shame too, because Jason Miller was noted for his plays, and he directed a couple of movies. I don't think they were that successful, but I seriously doubt they were as bad as this.
Yeah,
Joshua John Miller. I mean, let's face it here. Stanley Kubrick's first movie, he wanted to disown. He bought it out of print so no one could see it. I mean, we can now, but it wasn't that bad. It wasn't this bad, but not every amazing director can have a masterpiece right out of the gate. And the guy there was the Mao game back in 1999. I think that was like an independent film, but he hasn't really done a lot.
Yeah.
He's done a few shorts. He's written a few things.
Yeah, it looks like he's done more writing than he's done any directing
but anything. Not a lot of writing either. I mean, he hasn't done a lot of stuff, so we'll see what happens. But this movie was terrible. It really was terrible. And Russell Crowe, he's good to a certain point, but this is one turd he can't carry himself.
Sometimes movies, I go back to people just praising a horror movie just because it's a horror movie. Here's the thing. There's either really good horror movies or really bad horror movies. And then there's horror movies that are so bad they become good. This is not either of the two. This is, from what I'm hearing, is not a great movie, and the reviews are reflecting it. And unfortunately for Joshua Miller, just by his name and his family name alone, I'm sure he'll get plenty more opportunities, and hopefully his next showing is much better.
Just don't do another Exorcism movie, please. And then the funny thing is, they were making a remake of The Exorcist in the movie, and they were calling it something else. And it's just like, all right, just stop.
If you're going to, can we just say out loud, if I doubt anyone from Hollywood listens to us, but on the slightest chance that you are, all right, if you're going to make a movie about demon possession and exorcism, stay as far away from The Exorcist as you possibly can. Let it go. Do something else. Do something different. Yeah. It's not going to work out for you.
One critic said the power of Crowe compels up to a point in the metatextual riff on the possession genre, but The Exorcism's greatest sin is ultimately falling back on cliches.
Yes.
That's true. And again, this is just something that's been in limbo for 5 years, and it probably should have stayed that way, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But what do we know? We're just the people that love movies and go and watch them. And I wasn't too excited going into this movie, and I was even less excited coming out afterwards. So again, The Exorcism, if you really want to see, if you're a diehard Russell Crowe fan or you're a diehard horror fan, you got to see everything he does or every single horror movie film you can. By all means, go. We're not stopping you, but we're just kind of warning you, this is not good. Again, Scared for Reals, did you see The Exorcism, the new Russell Crowe movie, directed by Joshua John Miller? If you saw it, feel free to comment below. Click that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. If you love the movie and you want to trash us, that's okay. Just, it's your opinion, but we think it sucks. So again, you can reach out through YouTube. We're also on X, formerly known as Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Our handle is at Scared for Reals.